So significance is what others say about you. Success is what you count. I am living in a zone that I did not know existed. And I'd love for my listeners of this podcast to strive towards that zone. It's what I call fulfillment.
Dr. Sam, welcome to the Flourishing Life podcast.
Thank you so much. It's an honor just to be here with you. And thanks for everything you're doing to serve the kingdom.
Thank you. You live, if you follow you on Instagram, you live the most amazing, flourishing life. Can you give us, please, a quick summary of your life, your various roles, length of ministry, some of the big things that you've been involved with to date?
It's just a crazy life. My wife, Brenda, and I, we've been married for 45 years, and at least once a week, we look at each other and say, who'd have thunk? I never imagined that. So my father was a Pentecostal pastor in India, North India, a city called Lucknow. I grew up in that home. I came to the United States in 1973, August of 1973, as a student, and one thing led to the other, and that's my home now. And I get to serve what Jesus came into this world for, the Church of Jesus Christ. Love the church, the capital C church. The small c sometimes gives me heartburn, but a big C church, it is his bride. Yeah. He died for it. He's coming back for it. Yeah. So I just love pastors. They are my heroes. So I don't think that's any higher than that. So anything that I do is to say, so much has been given to me. And Lord's opened great, crazy doors for me. I mean, just crazy doors. I'm here in Australia, and by my calculations, there are about 6 or 7 what I would consider spirit-filled tribes, without naming any of them. Yeah. And I can tell you that God has graced me to work with all of them, which is very unusual. That not only do I speak at their conferences, the churches, but they would bring me in to consult with them on issues of leadership. So it's just a crazy, you cannot choreograph this. I never imagined this. I need for you to know. There's no strategic plan here. There's nothing of, if I do this and that will happen. How can I say that? I'm the biggest accident you ever seen. Yeah. So it's just been a crazy life. And I don't know how to describe it except to say, wow, never expected this.
So you've pastored a church?
Yes, I did.
And then what other things have you done?
Let me just stay with the American life. I was a student. I was a dishwasher, breakfast cook, janitor. Then I became a youth pastor out in Portland, Oregon. Then senior pastor of a church in Michigan, small church. My church never grew beyond 75, 80 people. And here I work with the largest churches in the world. I mean, go figure. Never built a building. Church I was at, I was staff. You never had staff. And now I'm around churches with 300, 400 on staff. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah. And then from there, I was recruited to be president of a Bible college, which is now university, in Atlanta, Georgia. And then after that, one thing led to the other, and I ended up a Christian church consultant, started writing books. And then next thing you know, I'm with Andrew Staggs in Brisbane. I mean, how good is that?
You're always so other people focused. It's part of your secret sauce. I think that's part of your life mission, isn't it? To help other people
help others succeed. Yeah.
And so thank you for saying yes to this time together. How would you describe what you do as a leader?
As a leader, my job is to listen deeply. I listen, then I learn what they're saying, what they're not saying. Then I lean into what I heard, what I listened for, and I try to lead from there. So because my life vision is helping others succeed, I'm trying to tune into what is it that Andrew Staggs is searching for listen deeply, and come behind that and say, here are a few thoughts about that. So you can call me anything you want to, but at the end of the day, I am sitting across the table with somebody who's got dreams in their life, aspirations in life, vision in their life. And my mind is always working as to, so how can I help?
Yeah.
And how can I help them get to whatever they want to do? So that's what I think I'd just call myself a helper. That's who I am, just a helper.
I think in some of our previous travels driving you around, I think you gave me 7 or 8 just keys after listening. Now, I've worked every one of those keys very hard.
Well, remind me what they were.
Some of them, the people say, as Dr. Sam Chan says, like when you recruit people, the ability to communicate and the ability to collaborate. Any of my students will know, Dr. Sam Chan told me this is part of your secret sauce. I remember that you said my biggest challenge as a leader of a tertiary Bible college was church-based internships, unaccredited. I remember you dropped that little nugget into me. You gave me some really clear advice around my doctoral studies and my future and how I may not be able to pigeonhole myself and how to strategically position myself. So here I am 7 years later in that advice, working hard the advice you've given me, and it's been the most amazing journey.
How about that?
You said to me, Andrew, you've got to teach pastors how to think. He said, because often they'll just cut and paste solutions from their friends, but they don't understand the contextualization. I think, how's that for a bit of a start?
Oh,
the Sanchandisms.
And that was probably in a car driving somewhere?
It was. Yeah, we were going to get a nice meal somewhere. It was always a good steak in Australia.
Yeah.
Now, you've written many books. I think you're writing your 27th one at the moment. I went to my bookshelf in my study and I just pulled out the ones that I had. I've still got, obviously, I'm not much of a fan if I haven't got all 26 of them. What I notice is they're all hardcover.
Yeah.
Now, to me, I love books and I always buy hardcover books, and all of yours are hardcover. Like this one, 2020, The Sequence to Success. I really enjoy this one. Now, this one, What's Shaking Your Ladder? I love this white shirt and the nice tie that you've got here. This one here, Who's Holding Your Ladder?
That's my second bestseller.
Is it?
It
is it because of the suit on the front?
Yeah, probably, yes. That's about the fifth iteration of a cover. But yeah, that's a self-published book. It's gone around the world, many different languages. Pastors and churches have used that metaphor in all kinds of different ways. It's a simple concept. But yeah, that's my second bestseller.
And then we've got, I remember you're strong in culture, so you've got Cracking Your Church's Culture Code. In my network, that was a game changer. I think it's been republished as Culture Catalyst. Leadership Pain, Bigger, Faster Leadership.
Leadership Pain is my bestseller.
Okay.
So that came out 8 years ago. And on Amazon, I check it about once a month or so. On Amazon, it is still in the top 30 under Christian leadership. So in 8 years, you know how many books on Christian leadership have been published. Lots and lots and lots of books, hundreds of books have been published on that. But that struck a nerve.
Why do you think that is?
Pastors are hurting. Yeah. Leaders are hurting. And I gave it a voice. I said to people, it's okay to hurt. That pain is a constant friend. You'll always walk with a limp. And then I gave real life stories in there of people are alive today. I could have given them Winston Churchill stories or Mother Teresa stories, all good stories. But I wanted people who are alive. So every chapter starts with a life story.
I noticed that. How did you get people, like some of them are very sad, tragic stories with a seed of redemption in them?
Well, they're almost all of them are my clients.
Okay.
So I've consulted with all of them, and they're my friends.
Yeah.
So I simply asked them, I said, hey, I'm writing a book. The thesis sentence of the book is, you will grow only to the threshold of your pain. Every book I write is built around one sentence. And so you'll grow only to the threshold of your pain. I said, you got a pain story? I know you do. Because they're my friends and they're my clients, I know their stories. So in some cases I said, will you tell me that story?
Okay.
So we wrote the story, gave them total editorial rights. So before it was published, they had total editorial rights over it. And they shared some crazy stories that are real life. And my task was to legitimize that and to say to leaders worldwide that pain is what you do.
Yeah.
And price for promotion is pain. And every biblical character had pain. You listen to people preach, and they will talk about the pain points, be it David or be it Nehemiah or be it Jesus or be it Peter or whoever. All of our preaching around pain points.
I found the book very validating because I was encouraged and challenged not to waste my pain, that it could be a gift to other people. And you're right, you gave many of us language to describe some of the deep challenges that we were going through. You got the word bleedership in there.
Yeah, because if you're not bleeding, you're not leading, There's blood on the floor. There's always blood on the floor, yeah.
One thing I liked about the book was this. You really told it as it was, but then you gave, I felt like you got me in a cuddle and like a headlock, and then I got a couple of uppercuts, but then the warm cuddle at the end. You got a section here, page 158, the substitute teacher. He said this, 5 crucial lessons about pain. We are weaker, more self-absorbed, and more fragile than we have imagined. And then you follow that up. Actually, we don't have a clue what God is up to. I'm thinking, do you care about us pastors at any stage? And then you chapter 8 was a wonderful chapter. I remember reading it, getting quite teary, called The Privilege of Leadership. It was absolutely amazing. And then you had this wonderful phrase here at the end. It's a paradox of a grace-filled spiritual leader that he can be a bold visionary, yet humble and willing to listen to anyone and any time. He or she can be driven, but his heart is at rest. He can be tenderly compassionate, yet brutally honest when the occasion warrants. He or she has nothing to prove and nothing to lose. You put me back together again like Humpty Dumpty.
Yeah, it was a tough book to write.
Yeah.
My publishers didn't want me to use the word pain. So I was adamant that that's what we're going to have on the cover. You can have the word pain in bold because they told me pain doesn't sell.
Well, you've proved that it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. But that book, and I'm not here trying to sell that book. Yeah. I'm just simply saying, I've had people. I'm going to start crying in a little bit. Don't want to. I've had people walk up to me, pastors, said I was about to commit suicide when my friend gave me a book called Leadership Pain. I had my resignation written. I was about to read it next Sunday, but then I read the book on Wednesday. I can tell you, I was ready to walk away from this thing that I thought was God and ministry. Emails, text messages, people walking up to me and saying, read your book, Leadership Pain. It's a universal language, pain and joy. We all laugh in the same language, doesn't matter which part of the world you're in. We cry in the same language. Yeah. We hurt in the same language. Pain is a universal language. And if you're not careful, Andy, in church, we somehow want to put a Band-Aid on it and make everybody feel good. And life is not that linear. You go through stuff. In there I write about my pain story. Yeah. So, and that is why, when you see a leader, never be jealous, never be envious, because the higher you go, the more pain you have. One of the reasons why most people don't grow is because they make a subconscious decision to block the pain, not take it any higher. Anyhow, almost sounding like I'm trying to sell a book. I'm trying to say...
Well, I'm not hearing that. I'm hearing your heart.
I want people to know, if you're in pain, you're in good company, because every leader, bar none, is in pain.
Yeah.
And we learn to put a spin on it. We learn to camouflage it. We learn to hide it behind God talk when we are hurting bad. I think you just got to be real with yourself, be honest with yourself.
You can definitely see and feel your love for pastors coming through. So we thank you for your service.
Thank you.
It's wonderful.
Thank you.
As you said, you coach, you consult. What are some of the particular groups of people who you've worked with over the decades that you've been really proud of, some of the results you've been able to get or the dreams that you've helped them realize?
I'm really looking for people who will engage with the process God is up to in their life. I'm just a helper in that process. And people I'm most proud of are people who are willing to engage with that painful process of God molding us and breaking us and remolding us and breaking us again, because He's got an amazing plan for our life. I think as a leader, we live what I call desperate lives. Desperate to love Jesus, desperate to please heaven, desperate to not disappoint the one who shed His blood for us, desperate to populate heaven and depopulate hell, just desperate. We live a life of desperation. And from there we get our fuel. So people that come to my mind, even as you ask that question, were people who said, yes. Yes is the most dangerous word. Yes is the most dangerous word you're going to say in any context of life. So I'm proud of people who say yes, pay the price for it, and are willing to keep paying the price for it. It's not a one-off. Yeah. So I'm proud of so many people who God has allowed me to cross paths with.
Yeah, wonderful. What does success and satisfaction look like to Dr. Sam Chand?
If I could evade that question and answer it another way. So success is something you can measure. Success is what you've achieved. Success can be counted in numbers in your church, numbers of sites, money, cars, houses, whatever. You can count success. And then some people call it significance. Significance is what others say about you. So you, Andy, are a significant leader because God has placed you in the face of emerging leaders. And your words will echo in their minds. And many of the things you say to the emerging leaders right now do not make sense to them. It's like more theoretical, but it's like live a little bit and all of it will start making more sense. So significance is what others say about you. Success is what you count. I am living in a zone that I did not know existed. And I'd love for my listeners of this podcast to strive towards that zone. It's what I call fulfillment. Fulfillment cannot be measured. It is not what others say about you. It is that sweet feeling saying, that was good. So, haven't you ever been to breakfast with a friend? No agenda. You're not selling anything. They're not buying anything. You're not bragging on what all your travels are, where you've spoken, and they're not doing that. You're just with a friend. And then you get in your car and you start your car after that breakfast. Say, that was good. Fulfillment.
Yeah.
That's where I am right now. It's just life is just fulfilling. Because not everything that matters can be counted.
Yeah.
And not everything that counts can be counted. In fact, things that cannot be counted affect things that can be counted. So, I haven't answered your question, but I think I'm not living in the success zone. I'm not looking in the significant zone. Like this moment right now is fulfilling. Yeah. Because I don't know who, where, when is going to hear this. And maybe there'll be that snippet, that 30-second snippet that would affect their life.
Guaranteed it will.
Yeah, so fulfillment.
Wonderful. Now, you travel widely and globally in many different networks. What do you think that God is doing in the capital C church globally in the season, or even just in the United States of America?
The capital C church has been through a tough season, especially with the global happenings that translated into major polarization, culture shifts, wokeness, and the churches are having to deal with that. I want every pastor listening to me to hear what I'm about to say. Pastoring is more challenging today than ever before. As I'm making this podcast with you this year, I will turn 72. I was born and raised in a pastor's home. I'm around pastors all the time. And I can tell you it is more challenging today than ever before. Because everything that you say is being recorded. Everything you say is out there. Everything you say, somebody else is going to listen. The smallest group you're going to speak to are the people you are in front of you in your auditorium or multi-site auditoriums. That's the smallest group you're going to speak to. The largest group is on Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn and YouTube and TikTok and on it goes. So it's very, very difficult. And every decision you make has 15 scenarios attached to that. There's nothing you can do that will not offend somebody. So I cannot guarantee that you're going to bless everybody, but I will guarantee that you're going to offend somebody on a regular basis. You'll have criticisms. And so in the Big C church, I think pastors and churches that are doing well are pastors and churches who stay mission-oriented, message-oriented, who are not counting the results by results, but counting the results by faithfulness. Stay faithful to what God has called you. Stay faithful to the message God has given you. Stay faithful to the Bible. Preach the text, not the pretext. Let the context become the commentary. Let your hermeneutic be stronger than your homiletic. Let the substance be stronger than your style. So in the Big C church, content, people are looking for that. Big C church, humility, people looking for that. Big C church, saying to people, we don't have all the answers, but your questions are welcome. Big C church is a humble church.
Yeah.
God's doing great things in the Big C church. So be encouraged. Big C is growing, it's flourishing, it's healthy.
And it's lasted so many centuries so far, it shall keep on keeping on. Yeah. So what are some of your key leadership and ministry convictions? Do you have a top set of things that you just really believe to be true? I know one of them would be your passion for the local church.
Years ago, somebody asked me on some kind of interview my definition of leadership. And the words that came out of my mouth surprised me. But then as I reflected back on that, it is true and it's become my North Star. My definition of leadership is others. Just one word, others. So that has become my North Star. It's a guiding principle. So everything I do for others will multiply. Everything I do for myself is going to be a small package. So that is one of the principles, others. Second one is knowing that my life on this planet is minuscule. So I have to redeem the time and be more about the Father's business. That father's business could simply mean having breakfast with a friend. Father's business could simply be sending that encouraging text to somebody on a Sunday morning saying, hey, man, I know you got a great message. Go kill it. A father's business could be taking care of my wife and my family. So I've got to recontextualize what father's business really means, but that is what I'm about. The other thing that has become very important in my life is to be present. To be present. So right now, I'm in this room, recording this with you, but my mind is nowhere else. I have appointments after this, but my mind is not there. My mind is here. And that's a battle. So I try to be 100% present. So when I'm speaking to somebody in the parking lot, I'm not looking around over their shoulder. I'm looking in their eyes. I want to be present. And I think those are just kind of concepts that are guiding me right now in this life. Ask me the same question tomorrow, maybe a different answer. But right now, that's it.
Oh, they're fantastic. Because they say one of the keys of a good long-term leader is they have to have a well-developed belief system. They've got to know their convictions. So some of those convictions, you sound like you're quite resolute about them. How do you think you form those convictions, or how do leaders get beliefs that stick with them, that guide them on the path of wholeness and fulfillment, as you mentioned?
I think the key word is what you just said in your question, the path. It's a journey. So the key convictions I just gave you were forming a long time ago. I just could not articulate them, could not live them out. I was in a different place in life. You know, I'm in a place in life that I can be present. There was a time I was rushing from appointment to appointment. Right now I can really focus on others. There was a time I was trying to make a living. I was thinking about me. That wasn't bad then. It is just where I was in life. And I think one of the things that God allows us to do is to be formed, continuously being formed. I'm continuously being sanctified. I'm maturing. Along with the words of Paul, I have not achieved it. I'm working that way. And that is why I said to you earlier, that's my answer today. But ask me a week from now, my answer might be different because I'm on a journey.
Yeah.
I'm being formed. I have not arrived. I am... and my journey is forming me. The people I meet on the path, the challenges I face on the path, the joys, the criticisms and the compliments, they're all forming me. And so, yeah, it's a journey I'm on. And I think everybody listening to us has to give themselves license to be on a journey.
Yeah. Could I ask, why have you given your life like to the work of God, for the Father's business? Because not everyone does that. Like, and not everyone finishes strong. Like, why do you have that approach to your life?
That's a great question. Never given it, what would I say, conscious thought that I've given my life for the work of the Lord. Just one step at a time. I'm just doing what He's called me to do. And the doors that He opens for me are serving others. So I think it's just the journey. My willingness to say, yes, you open the door, I'll walk through it. Because my philosophy has always been, I can always walk out of a room, can't always walk into a room. So, yeah, so He opens doors.
Did we drop the microphone there?
Yeah.
That was a banger.
Yeah. It's just walk. He opens the door, I walk into it. Now, there are many rooms that I walked halfway through it and say, oops, what am I doing in this room? I'll look for the exit. Yeah. But, yeah, it's just serving the Lord. with what he's given me so much. He's enriched my life so much. I just could not have imagined any of this, but here we are. And so I'm just awestruck, really. I live in wonderment.
Yeah.
I live in wonderment as to, wow, I get to do this? Cool
it's interesting, the skills and the knowledge and the attitudes and the mindset that you've must have acquired over decades of ministry. Like, how do you learn, or how have you acquired those skills? Because you always seem to be reinventing yourself, like being ahead of things. That's how I'm discerning it. Have you ever thought about how is it that you've grown as a leader in the various areas?
I think I can see my growth in retrospect.
Okay.
I would say I'm growing. I haven't grown. I'm growing because, I got saved at the age of 7, so 72 minus 7 is whatever. A lot of years. And yet, at times, Andy, I just do stupid stuff. I have stupid thoughts. And, sometimes I say to myself, okay, so use a homey example. Somebody cuts me off on the highway, on the road. They just cut me off. Why is it that those words want to come out of my mouth? Words that I don't think you want me to say on the podcast.
Yeah.
We are saying, but our vocabulary is quite healthy. So why is it that I want to give them a hand gesture, pointing towards heaven? And I got to say to myself, Sam, you've been saved almost all your life. You're in a pastor's home. You received the baptism of the Holy Spirit when you were 9. You've been to Bible college. You've been to seminary. You've written books. You pastored a church. You've spoken on major platforms all over the world, on every continent. And shouldn't you be further along?
Yeah.
And the answer is, I should be, but I'm not.
Well, at least you've been to Bible college. You know Romans 7, then Romans 8. So you know that there is some hope along the way for you.
Yeah.
You've been involved with faith-based education and higher education. Like, how do you think that works for pastors or the development of leaders? The benefits of higher faith-based higher education, because that's the lane I've been running in for over a decade now.
I think it's essential that people learn and grow. I want to say to every leader, if you have access to, an opportunity to, and resources to enroll in a formal education program, you should. For no other reason except yourself. I remember I was pastoring in Michigan, and I had a bachelor's degree by then, and one day my wife said to me, she said, you need more education. And she said, the people who are coming to our church speak a different language and have a different vocabulary, have a different mindset. And you're still thinking at one level when God is bringing you people at a different level, at higher level. So you need to. So I enrolled in a master's program, that kind of a thing. Yeah. I think anybody who has access to, and not everybody's access to online, should enroll in some kind of a formal education. Because what formal education does, it gives you access to resources, access to ways of thinking, access to relationships, access to networks. It opens up a world to you.
Yeah.
But then there's also the other side in which you can grow by reading, listening like this podcast, listening, watching. Anybody who's not growing today is just lazy. Just plumb lazy, because so many free resources are there. For example, if you wanted to, and you can go to samchandoffer.com. And all kinds of free resources are there. samchandoffer.com. Now, will anybody do that? I don't know, but I put it in the atmosphere, right?
Yeah.
And so when people say, well, I don't have resources, I don't have money, I'm telling you about free resources, free leadership, digital books free online, videos free online. So if you don't want to grow now, you're just lazy. There's no other word for it. You're just lazy because it's all available to you. And if you ever get to a place that you know it all, I just know he's about to call your number.
They might need a book on leadership pain along the way.
So I would say to everybody, it's available to you. Take advantage of it. It'll help you grow. And when you grow, everything around you grows.
Yeah, it's wonderful. That's even the best reason for doing it. Bless and benefit other people. Now, you've been involved with the oversight and development of leaders, and especially young leaders over the years. Have you got anything for advice for a young leader who's starting out? They're discerning the call of God upon their life. God's calling them higher, and He's messing with their belief system. Any advice around what things that they should keep more important than what they think should be at the moment, or essentials for young leaders?
Yeah, I wrote a whole book on that.
Yeah.
It's called New Thinking, New Future.
Okay.
New thinking will open up new future. Old thinking will keep you in the past. So I would say to emerging leaders, surround yourself with people who are going somewhere. Get on a journey with other people. Don't be the smartest person in the room. Have good questions to ask people. If you know you're going to be around a leader, have some questions ready to ask them. And just buy into the fact this is a journey.
Okay.
There is no there. I want to say that again. There is no there. It's like when I get there, there's no there. And also lose the thinking of when and then. When this happens, then I will do that. When my church grows, then. When I have more money, then. When I'm older, then. There is no when and then.
Yeah.
And then I would also say, your life is fragile. Live it carefully. I just don't want to end well. I want to be well when I end. So live a life of integrity. Don't mess around. If you're married, stay true to that person. In the last 2 years, Andy, I've seen more wrecks in the church world, morally, in their marriages, than ever before. They've always been there, but last 2 years, it's an epidemic. And so just stay clean, live clean, and stay curious. You'll never know everything. Nobody knows everything. Stay curious. Keep your imagination strong. Because your imaginarium, that room in your head, was going to create scenarios for you that you never thought. Yeah. Be careful who you hang with. Yep. Your company decides everything. Yeah. So I'm rambling now, but that's
no. They're just drip feeding out, and
Yeah.
I can almost hear the typing going as people are listening at home or dictating the car as they're going somewhere. Now, things haven't always been plain sailing in every part of this wonderful, flourishing life you've had for you and your family. What does a tough season look like for you, and what did you do besides reading your own book on leadership pain?
Yeah, I have a whole chapter devoted to my pains. I know what it is to have no money to feed your family. I know what it is to, in America, apply for what we call food stamps. That will be government assistance. I know what it is to have marriage challenges. Not because she was doing anything wrong. I was just neglecting my family and growing my church. So I know what it is to have lots of failures. In fact, the first book I ever wrote was in the mid-90s, and the title of the book was, and still is in print, Failure, the Womb of Success, in which I had 20 of my friends write their failure stories. Failure, the Womb of Success. So I must say this, I've had more failures in life than successes. I know that for a fact. But in those failures, I have to somehow figure out a way, because God has a plan for my life. But yeah, I failed a lot. I failed a lot. And I just have to say to everybody listening to me, I failed, you failed, I will fail, you will fail. That's a prophecy you can take to your grave.
No one's going to stone you for a false prophet.
No, not for that one. You'll disappoint people. You'll fail. You'll fail yourself.
Yeah.
You'll fail your family. You'll fail your church. You'll fail your ministry. You'll fail. You'll fail. It just depends on how you recover from that failure. Yeah. The good thing is, we fail at things, but we're not a failure. The good thing is that failure is written in pencil. It can be erased. Good thing is there's life after failure. Now, I know this much, Andy. Not everybody listening to me has been successful, whatever that means. But everybody, 100% people listening to me have failed.
Yeah.
So there's no sense in denying that, but saying, but God's been good. I'm still here.
Yeah.
And we learn from that.
And our failure is the womb of our success. That's wonderful. Hey, we had a little bit of a thought on the way up here. You've been consulting to organisations for a long time. Some organisations have been decades long. They had an original founding purpose and a charter with a group of people. But there is a phenomena where things can veer off course over time. Even the university that you've been part of has had several iterations of its founding vision. What do you see happening there that an organisation can keep staying, use your phrase, like a North Star position? Have you thought of any keys, how to keep an organisation on track, even through the generational transfers of leadership, so the baton doesn't get dropped? So in my mind, here's how I say it to Sam. Your product remains the same. Your delivery system changes. So if my product is my message, is my product, my delivery system can be a podcast. It can be a book. It can be a video on YouTube. It could be a short blast on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. So my product remains the same. That's my message. So my book is not my product. It's a delivery system. And then once I differentiated those two things, it freed me up to not feel bad about what I was considering mission drift. So even at the college, now university in Atlanta, it was founded in 1918, Beulah Heights University, founded as a spillover of the Azusa Street revival on the East Coast. So the product was sending missionaries. So they had a farmhouse on the property in which they would bring 6 to 8 people called to the missions. They'd mentor them for 5-6 months, give them a one-way ticket on a boat, and pack them up, send them away. So that the product was sending messengers. So if I was to take the word missionary out and replace that with messengers, because there were messengers who were on a mission. So we call them missionaries. Because now that becomes a nomenclature. He's a pastor, she's an evangelist, he's a missionary, and we kind of put them in that little box, but we are messengers, right? Wow, that's good.
So the product was messengers. And over years, it became an institute, and then became a college, and now it's a university. So we are still sending messengers, but our delivery systems have shifted. So once I got those two differentiating factors in my mind, I did not feel like I had to reincarnate or redo the vision, the mission. So the mission is very simple. We are preparing global leaders for ministry and marketplace. So we are sending messengers in ministry and marketplace globally. That's it. It was then, it is now.
Okay.
So at that time in 1918, we were sending, I wasn't there, of course, but Paul and Hattie Barth, the founders of the institute, were sending missionaries. When I left Beulah Heights in 2003 as their president after 15 years, we had 52 countries on our campus. So we were sending messengers. Now messengers were coming to us to be prepared to be messengers. So our delivery systems will keep changing. But our North Star is the product.
That's powerful.
So if you stay true to the product. So for example, I have a pen in my pocket. The product is a writing instrument, not a pen. So when they wrote with quills, the epistles were written with quills, dipping it into an ink bottle. See, the product is a writing instrument.
Yeah.
But now you can spend thousands to buy a writing instrument. Or free in a hotel room. You see what I'm talking about? Yeah. So when people say there's mission drift, it is if your product has changed.
Okay.
If product remains true, delivery systems change.
That's powerful. Now, it's been wonderful. One closing thought. Have you got a final thought that you'd like to leave with us? Some of your secret sauce or what you're working on or how you see the future?
No, I do have a final thought for you.
Yeah.
And that is keep doing what you're doing. Because what you're doing, you're probably not getting flooded with emails and text messages and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok, whatever, from people saying, hey, Andy, amazing. You get some of those, but your returns are not on this planet. You have no idea which pastor you helped. You have no idea which church member is a better member. You have no idea who will become a better financial steward for their local church. You have no idea that because of your podcast, people will enroll in some Bible institute, some Bible college, some prayer place of preparation and become leaders in the kingdom of God. You have no idea. So just want to encourage you and your son Jethro, who is in the background right now, but without him, we'd be nothing. He's controlling everything. He's holding our ladder right now, absolutely.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, boom, yeah. So I want to say to both you, father and son, Andy and Jethro, keep doing what you're doing because you're making a difference. Keep doing it.
Dr. Sam Chan, thank you for being on the Flourishing Life podcast today. It's been awesome. God bless you.
And you. Thank you.
Thank you. If you've enjoyed this episode, can you do me just one thing? One favor, please. Can I encourage you to share this with a friend, a colleague, or someone who would be blessed or inspired or challenged by some of the content? I love the guests that we have, and they bring such a richness of them for the benefit of kingdom purpose. So please share it with one friend. God bless you.